Ahoy, this is Zdenka. Are you new to Filmic Pro? Do you need help with the settings for filming outdoors? Do you need a cheat sheet? Let's save everything as presets in today's video so you don't have to do this all over again. Basically, I'm going to share with you all my settings on this iPhone 13 Pro. Preset number 1 will be the most basic one, filming at real speed, 24 frames per second. I'm going to go to settings, choose resolution. I will leave a classic aspect ratio 16:9. To film in the best quality I can, I will select 4K, 10-bit, and below Filmic Extreme. If you have a different phone than me and see different options, you need to select the highest quality available on your smartphone. Next, let's go to frame rates. Here I will choose 24 frames per second capture and 24 frames per second playback. Let's go back and enter the stabilization settings. If I film with a gimbal, I leave it on standard. If I film handheld, I like to use cinematic. Last thing I'm going to do is select white balance. If it is a sunny day, I choose sunny. If it is overcast, I choose overcast, and so on. When it comes to the color profile, I prefer to leave the color profile natural. And now I'm ready to save it as a preset. Let's go back to settings, preset, and save. Let's name this 24 sunny. Next time you open up Filmic Pro, just go to presets, hit 24 sunny presets, and you are ready to shoot. How do you film in manual mode? Let's hit reticles. On the left is where you will lock your shutter speed. You need to double the shutter speed, so let's turn the wheel until you see 1/40th of a second. Tap on it and lock it. Now you can bring ISO here at the top to the lowest you can. For filming outdoors, you will need a variable ND filter, so now you can adjust the filter to get a nice balanced exposure. Let's hide the reticles. Now you see a circle and a square. Circle has to stay red, don't touch that. That is your locked shutter speed and ISO. The square you're going to unlock, and that is your focus. Just leave it in the middle to have the focus center weight. And now you're ready to film in manual mode at 24 frames per second. If you're finding that you're having a little bit of a hard time finding all these settings, I will link a video below in a video description, which I created a while ago. It's a complete walk through Filmic Pro. I highly recommend watching this one as you will get familiar where everything is. Another favorite setting I use is filming at 30 frames per second. When you place it on a 24 frames per second timeline, you can slow it down 80%, just a little bit to give it a slightly dream effect. This frame rate is used quite a bit for music videos. Let's set it up in Filmic Pro. Let's go to settings. Keep the same aspect ratio 16:9. Depending on the phone you have, I can still keep 4K 10-bit and Filmic Extreme settings for this frame rate. Once I go to frame rates, I can set here 30 frames per second capture and playback. Because I'm filming with a gimbal, I'm going to keep standard stabilization. I'm going to make sure again the white balance is selected for outdoors sunny, because that is what I'm saving it for. The color profile stays natural. Go to settings, preset, and save. Let's name it 30 sunny. For those who want to film only in automatic mode, you're all set, you can go filming. For those who want to film in manual, let's keep going. Let's pull out reticles, select shutter speed 1/60th and tap to lock it. Now you can bring the ISO as low as possible. Hide reticles, unlock focus, and you are all set to film in 30 frames per second. We have set 24 frames per second and 30 frames per second, but my most preferred frame rate for filming is 60 frames per second. When you place footage on a 24 frames per second timeline, you can slow it down 40% and get this nice result. The settings will change here quite a bit. I'm keeping the same aspect ratio, 16:9. I can still film in 4K, but not in 10-bit. I need to lower it to 8-bit to get access to filming at 60 frames per second. I'm still going to keep filming extreme. Let's go back to frame rates, and now we see an option for filming in 60 frames per second. Let's select 60 frames per second capture and playback. Stabilization is set to standard as before. Ensure you have the right white balance selected. Go to settings, hit preset, and let's save. That is 60 sunny. And again, if you want to film in automatic mode, you are all set. To film in manual mode, pull out reticles and adjust shutter speed to 1/120th of a second. Lower ISO and disable reticles. Unlock focus, and you are ready to film. If you want to film in nice slow motion, you can either film in 120 or 240 frames per second. My preferred setting is 120 frames per second, as I rarely have an opportunity to shoot something suitable for extreme slow motion at 240 frames per second. Here settings will change again. I'm going to keep the same aspect ratio 16:9. However, I need to lower the resolution, this time to 1080p 8-bit, to get access to 120 and 240 frames per second. Let's go to frame rates. First, let's set 120 frames per second slow motion capture and playback. Stabilization is set to standard. Make sure white balance is correct and save this preset as 120 sunny. If you want to save a preset for 240 frames per second, you are going to do everything the same, except you will select 240 frames per second capture and playback. You can turn on stabilization or off. I like to have it enabled. And now save it as 240 sunny preset. To film in manual mode, once you pull out the reticles, shutter speed for 120 frames per second will be 1/240th of a second. And if you film in 240 frames per second, shutter speed needs to be 1/480th. Now when you go back to settings and presets, you can see a nice selection of presets ready to film outdoors on a sunny day. The only thing you're going to be changing is white balance. You can also save the presets with overcast white balance or just automatic if you want to adjust the white balance yourself before you film. This lecture you just watched is included in my smartphone filmmaking course, which is now available. This course is built for a complete beginners who have no time watching long videos or searching all the information. All lessons are very short and quick, giving you exactly what you need. Lifetime access is included, as this course is growing non-stop with new material, and students can submit their final video for a review. Link is below for those interested. I hope you found this video helpful. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe for more. Let me know in the comment section below, what is your most preferred frame rate for filming, and what are you about to film? I just want to know everything. Of course, if you have any questions, leave them below as well. I will answer some of them in the new shorts series. See you in the next video. Ciao. Ahoy. They're done. See, there is a construction in our neighbor's backyard, so it makes it extremely difficult to record anything. So I'm taking a little breaks, but we'll get through. So if you heard any sounds in today's video, them, not me.